Hi, my name is Jenks, and I am making this video for my AP US History class. I am going to be talking about the story of my family, the little that there is, at least what I know. Alright, let's go. So let's start on my dad's side. So my name is Jenks. That is it's a Welsh name. So a long time ago, before the 1600s, my family was from, the Jenks family was from England, and then before that, at some point, they were from Wales. There was a lot of stuff mixed in there. I'm a little bit German. There's a lot of different things. Probably the one thing that stands out most is in my blood is Irish, but that's mostly from my mother's side. Anyway, in the early 1600s, like the 1640s, the Jenks family came over to America just for like economic reasons. So that's pretty early on in American history. We made knives, and I believe at some point our family, when we were in England, we had made swords for like the king and queen, so that's pretty cool. I'm kind of a tall guy. I'm like 6 foot, but I've been told by my family that a long time ago, I had an ancestor who was the mayor of Massachusetts, I believe, at some point in early American history, and he was one of the tallest men in the colonies. He was like 6'4", which was like unheard of back then. So there's that, and then I had a grandfather, or I think he was a great-great-grandfather, or maybe just one great, I'm not sure, who was captain of a machine gun battalion in World War I. He helped liberate France from the Germans, and for that he won the I believe it's called the Croix de Guerre, which is like the Medal of Honor for the French. It's like the highest honor that you could receive. So that's pretty cool. There's a cool story about him where after a French town had been liberated, he was tasked with like keeping the mayor of the town safe, and the story goes that they're walking down the middle of the town, and then he like stops him. He's like, hold up, and he takes out his pistol and like aims it at a tree and then like fires, and then a second later a German soldier like comes out of the tree. So that's pretty cool. That's just a story. Okay, so that's my dad's side. I don't know anything about my that's my grandfather's side, of my paternal grandfather's side. I don't know much about my grandmother because she, we don't know her real parents, and she like moved from family to family a lot, so we don't know much about her side. She's Irish, we know that. She's some Irish, so is my grandfather, but not a ton. On my mother's side, I have a lot of greats who are from Ireland, who came to Pennsylvania. Most, like my maternal grandfather lives in Pittsburgh now, and my family has lived in Pittsburgh / grew up in Pittsburgh on my mother's side. They for a while now, for a few generations. At one point, yeah, it's an Irish Catholic family. So, you know, that kind of says it all right there. You know, they were, you know, big families, poor, steel men, as you know, as you do in Pittsburgh. You know, steel workers, hard asses. You know, don't push them around. I have a story about my great grandfather named Jim Scanlon. Old Jim Scanlon. He was a hard ass. He didn't take shit from anybody. There was a story about how. So back then, I believe this was before World War II, but after World War I, you had to pay a tithing in the Catholic Church. You had to, you know, like put money in the basket, but it was kind of a big deal. It was like you had to. They would know if you hadn't paid your tithing, and it was kind of a thing. So The story goes, Jim Scanlon gets a call from the priest who lived across the street, and the priest is like, "Hey Jim, you didn't pay your tithing." And he's like, "Well, I don't really need to pay the tithing because I send my son to your school, to a Catholic school, and I pay for that." And the priest is like, "Nah, you still need to pay your tithing." And Jim was like, "All right, hang on, Father. This is a priest, remember?" So he puts down the phone and walks across the street to deck the priest. So yeah, that's Jim Scanlon. Then, okay, so my mother, she grew up in Pittsburgh. She didn't have a lot of money. She put herself through college. She always had money because she was always working, and she went to Austria and paid for herself to go on big cool vacations and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's really cool. She was a really hard worker. She still is. She will be till the day she dies. And she went to Wittenberg University where she met my father. And my father, he grew up around here. He grew up in Kettering, Ohio. He lived like a 5 minutes walk from the Miami Valley School where I go to school. So he's always lived here. He also went to Wittenberg. They met there, and eventually they got together. They came back to Dayton. My dad went to UD. He went to the University of Dayton for his law degree. He also has a master's in American history, and he was working as a teacher. But his father, my father's family, the Jenks family, is a long line of lawyers. So there was something in there where he's like, I think I'm gonna go become a lawyer. So he did that, got his law degree. When I was very young, when I was in kindergarten up till I don't know, maybe first grade or something, he was getting his law degree. And here I am. Now I'm at Miami Valley, hoping to go to college for art and animation. That's pretty cool. I don't think anyone in my family's gone that route before, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay, so that's the story of me, story of my family. Thank you.